opportunities as well. Had the most remarkable career. Spent a lot of time managing and working with Carlson Air, and now in the latter years assisting with the heritage revision of these aircraft. We should hopefully see a variety of different activities from Sea King and Michael here today. From historic helicopters down at Chart, the venerable, very distinctive Western Sea King R3, X-ray Zulu 597. So give them all a huge wave. They've been working very hard in this cockpit here today, and I think bringing back a very unique display, something we haven't seen for many, many years. And it's a real pleasure to see them here. Because this was built as a ISF, an Iraqi single-seat Fury for the Iraqi Air Force. Part of a contract of 60 aircraft. This one, number 315, 315th in that particular production batch. Fury became a very popular aircraft with overseas militaries in particular, used during the Korean War in the 1950s and also. As I say again, he takes without a reheat just to slow the jet down beyond going over 600 knots, because that's the speed limit here. Otherwise, he'll go supersonic. Here we go. Continuing that push now up into a negative G half Q. Always a pleasure to bring back on some positive G. All the blood now going the right way around. Coming up now. Thrilling stuff indeed. We're enjoying every minute of it. It's good to see Red 10 just arriving. Fantastic news. Halfway through the display now. We have different distances and heights with a variety of different performances of aircraft during the air display. All designed to keep it, of course, as safe as possible. It's a slow, tight 360-degree turn. Fly up to 5.5 hours with external fuel tanks on, and the cockpit, as you can imagine there, got extremely good visibility. Served in all three US branches, the Air Force, Navy and the Marines between 1965 and 1995. Cargo area can carry up to 2,500 pounds of cargo, 6 paratroopers or 2 stretchers and a medic as well. A little bit of an example of a straightening pass. Using the big chandelle to reverse the position. There you can imagine straight run, and lovely to see the sun just glinting off the inside of the tube. Of course, immediately after hitting the target, he would pull away and up from the stay as well from Portsmouth. So please welcome this unique D-Day formation from Dublin. The aircraft supporting the greatest armada in the history of the world, the largest invasion seaborne assault ever in the history of combat. The Blenheim was actually built in 1934 as a small airliner, a private venture by the Bristol Aircraft Company, funded by Lord Rothermere, named the Spirit of Britain. Now apt in many ways that it went on to serve as a Royal Air Force bomber. Modification became the first stress-skin aircraft accepted by the Royal Air Force. It was then the fastest light bomber of its day, faster than many of the fighter aircraft then on order. It became the backbone of the light bomber force. Hands today of John Dawes, and on the other wing of the Blenheim, a very unique Mark 11 Spitfire in the hands of Martin Overall. We would never see a Blenheim again. The first restoration project sadly was tragically wrecked only 4 weeks after its return to air. But the team were determined to get one going again, and after a 5-year-long restoration, largely undertaken by the same workforce, the aircraft became airborne once again, and what a true pleasure and delight it is.
So I wonder that this is the one that will try and take a lot of the airship.
With probably the greatest number of Spitfire hours under his belt as well. A fully licensed engineer as well as a commercial pilot. That's of this aircraft with that distinctive elliptical wing. And of course the amazing development of that aircraft during the course of the Second World War, over 20,000 of them. The most fantastic sight and sound, but I must just interrupt it for an important message, please. Now the fighters braking as they pull out to sea. We remember the amazing stories and all of the reports from D-Day, the soldiers looking up, of course, to see literally swarms of aircraft helping to protect the assault on the beaches. Forming a tail chase. P-51 itself was not an instant success. It was designed for the British in just 120 days to meet there. Well, that is what it's like to be in this cockpit, but no better man. He's got flying in his DNA. His father was a Hunter display pilot. Richard was a Tornado pilot before he went commercial, and now he spends all his time developing the extreme edge of aviation in what is actually a very, very historic aircraft. The design of the Pitts Specials goes back to the late 1940s when Curtis Pitts got this together as basically a competition aircraft, and of course it did dominate the competition world right through the 50s, 60s and 70s, with so many famous British pilots scoring well on this. But you can see now with that additional power how much extra thrust he has available. The thrust comes from two Lynx jet turbines. They're both that and the engine have two completely different fuel systems attached to them. The total thrust available is approximately 1,600 pounds, which is extraordinary. And essentially he splits them into using the prop and the piston engine as throttle, and then extra thrust from the turbojets. The two Lynx jets themselves give 300 pounds of thrust each, using jet A1 kerosene fuel. Meanwhile, the single Lycoming 540 bangs out 1,000 pounds using just avgas. All three engines will be functioning together. They can fly lots of different routines. You can fly on just one engine, it doesn't matter which one. Spent absolutely years in this hangar up in Gloucestershire, Staverton Airport, modifying, testing, flying. As I say, totally passionate and very committed engineer and pilot. Winding up our speed, using the energy once again, very tight turn. Of course, don't forget, in this aircraft he has no G protection. In other words, unlike the Typhoon pilot you saw a little earlier on, doesn't have the pressure suits to reduce the effects of G. So this is something you have to work really hard and train for. And not the easiest to do and concentrate, but I have to say, really comfortable for Richard. Need to get up and do this a couple of times a week to stay absolutely fit and current.
Diamond formation, it's the Red Arrow! Team arrive in our world famous Diamond 9, trailing our famous red, white and blue. We have three types of show: full, flat and rolling. And the red one is pulling up, and the team are staying in 9, moving into 9 Arrow for the full show. They arrive at approximately 400 miles per hour and reach a height of over 5,500 feet before the top of the loop. And as they make their way down, you can see they've now transitioned from our Diamond 9 into 9 Arrow. Bringing the team to the left this year is the new team leader, a new red one for the 2024 season. It's squad leader John Bond, known as Bundy. Bundy has been in the team for 5 years previously. He took a year off before coming back to be the team leader for 2024. He's been red 2, he's been red 6 twice before coming back as red 4 in 2022. He's a former Typhoon pilot and qualified flying instructor on the Tucano. In from the left, in Big Vixen, is the Red Arrow. On the right of Red 1 is Red 2, that's squad leader Chris McCann, known as Creamy. He's called Creamy because he was creamed off from training directly to being an instructor on the Tucano. After which he joined 617, the Dam Buster Squadron, flying the Tornado GR4, where he received an Air Force Cross for his service on operations over Iraq and Afghanistan. For those of you who saw the news, tragically, a week ago today, the Royal Air Force, the aviation community and the display community, and more importantly, a family, lost a very cherished member. And in tribute to our wonderful friend, our great colleague and a fantastic aviation hero, our tribute to Squadron Leader Mark Long, this is Spitfire. A wonderful tribute to a wonderful human being and a great friend of all of us in the Royal Air Force. To the left of Red 1 is Red 3, and that's Flight Lieutenant Dustin Wales, known as Dusty. Dusty is in his first year on the team. He was originally born in Zimbabwe before coming over with his parents and then joined the Royal Air Force. He's a former Typhoon pilot. He flew with 11 Squadron as an instructor on 29 Squadron and then went to 41, the Test and Evaluation Squadron, all based at RAF Coningsby. The smoke comes on from Reds 4 and 5 and the centre sections move rearwards to form a shape representing one of the most iconic aircraft in history. Last November was the 30th anniversary of its final flight. As the team roll out, there is no mistaking the majestic shape of the Concorde. The team once again pull up of over 400 miles per hour, showing the expertise of the formation, being able to formate loop in the Concorde shape. Well, now you can see Reds 8 and 9 moving to the outside, showing how good these pilots are, being able to change that formation whilst looping, and they move into Signet. The aircraft slow to approximately 120 miles per hour over the top and accelerate once again back down to the 400 miles per hour before Red 1 brings the team around to the left. Australian Air Force. The wings are flexed forward, 6 and 7 split as they come around to the left. Get your cameras ready for the colourful Phoenix. In the middle of that right wing, uppermost is Red 4, that's Flight Lieutenant Ollie Suckling. Ollie is in his second year on the team. He was Red 4 last year, he remained as Red 4, and he took up the position affectionately known as Uncle Enid, which means that he is the mentor for the new pilots when they join the team, and he guides them through all the training, through winter training. Ollie is also a former Tornado GR4 pilot and qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T Mark II. And he's also got a long-established career as a civilian display pilot, where he uses display with the Strike Master pair based out of North Wales. You see Reds 8 and 9 move themselves rearwards as the team form two distinctive rows. As Red 1 continues to bring them around to the right. Once again, get your cameras ready for the chevron roll. In the front row on the far left-hand side is Red 5, that's Flight Lieutenant George Hobday. George is also in his first year on the team. He's a former Typhoon pilot. He flew with 11 Squadron based out of RAF Coningsby, where he took part in operations over Iraq and Syria, as well as the Eastern Europe Air Policing Patrol. Of course, the Red Arrows is not just about the pilots. We have a team of over 140 personnel, and 120 of them are the engineers, the technicians, the logisticians, and they are known as the Blues. Reds 8 and 9 roll red smoke around the rest formation as Red 1 brings them in. A little bit left than the red, white and blue come on at the front section. You may be able to see those aircraft at the front are flying with their air brakes out. That's the small door at the base of the aircraft underneath. This has twofold effect. The first one means the pilot. If we start the second half where you'll see the more high-paced jaw-dropping dynamic flying. But right now is a manoeuvre not seen for over 20 years. It's the 5-4 split. You now have going right, reds 1 to 5. They are now known as Enid, named after Enid Blyton's famous 5 from the children's books. And off to the left, you have reds 6, 7, 8 and 9. They are named Hannah, named after squadron leader Ray Hannah, one of the first members of the Red Arrows, the only leader to lead the team for 4 years. He took the team from a 7 to a 9, and he also formed our trademark Diamond 9 formation. Hannah from the left, Enid from the right. It's the 5-4 pass. Keep your eye on Enid going to the left. The Red Arrows were formed in 1964 with our first display in 1965. And they were formed from 3 different teams: the Red Pelicans, the Black Arrows and the Yellow Jacks. We took the red from the Red Pelicans, the arrows from the Black Arrows, which gave us our name, the Red Arrows, and we also took the aircraft from the Yellow Jacks. And in tribute to our first aircraft flown in the team, from the right, Enid as Nat. The Red Arrows flew the Nat right the way up until 1980, which is when we took over the Hawk T-Mark 1, which is the aircraft that we fly now. Going off to the left, you have reds 7 and 8, and off to the right is reds 6 and 9. Hannah and the synchro pair are led by the synchro leader. That's off to the right. Climbing high is red 6. That's Flight Lieutenant Stuart Roberts. Stu has been on the team for his 3 years, and this is his 3rd and final year. He was red 7 last year and then red 2 in his first year. He's a former Typhoon pilot, having flown with 11 and 12 Squadron in RAF Coningsby. Each pair dive down now to only 100 feet above the sea, but have a closing speed of over 800 miles per hour. Get your cameras ready for the Hannah pass. Reds 8 and 9 going vertical, reds 6 and 7 staying flat, turning hard away from the display line. Red 6 on the left. Once again, red 6 and 7 turn hard towards each other, with red 7 trying to pass just behind red 6 to finish the manoeuvre of slingshot. Coming in from the left is red 9. He's Flight Lieutenant Patrick Kershaw. You see he lines up with the rest of Enid. Blue smoke comes on for the Goose. Red 9, Patrick Kershaw is his 3rd and final year in the team. He's a former Tornado pilot and Typhoon pilot. With Enid coming off to the left, trailing our famous red, white and blue. That red, white and blue is only possible due to the smoke pod underneath the aeroplane. That smoke pod is capable of producing 5 minutes of white smoke. Get your cameras ready. The smoke comes on, and the synchro part to form the world famous synchro part. And on behalf of the Red Arrows, we'd like to dedicate today's heart. Congratulations to Dawn and Adrian on your 33rd wedding anniversary. And spearing the heart is Red 8, that's Flight Lieutenant Rich Walker. Rich is in his 2nd year in the team, highly accomplished aviator, former Harrier pilot and Typhoon pilot. Each aircraft goes belly up, the smoke colour change, and each one perform a barrel roll in the opposition barrel roll. Look far left in the distance, you've got Enid with 8 and now joined the formation. the smoke comes on. And Red 1 pulls the Vixen formation up at over 400 miles per hour. He rolls to the right once again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your cameras ready for the Vixen vertical brake. Trail in the sky. He'll then flatten the display and draw the coils in the skies, remaining flat of a manoeuvre we like to call Serpent. Red 1 makes the call, and Reds 2, 3, 4 and 5 now make their way forwards and put themselves completely alongside Red 1. This is extremely high and hard formation for the pilots to fly. They're now looking to... Coming in from the left-hand side once again is Hannah. 6 rolls inverted. And he starts to push as the Hannah performs the mirror roll. Now don't underestimate how hard this is for Red 6. He's now rolling inverted and he's doing an inverted barrel roll. All the blood rushing to his head and he's working his hardest to remain conscious in that aeroplane while all the other aircraft are performing that barrel roll with him. Extremely hard manoeuvre for Red 6 to perform. And it's finished off by Reds 8 and 9 performing a roll back into position. 2 and 3 roll goers, 2 and 3 roll around the outside. Clear go as Red 4 and 5 roll around the outside. In one and together, again another popular manoeuvre. This is rollbacks. Rollbacks is one of the hardest for our new pilots each year to master. It takes a lot of training during winter training to absolutely get them symmetrical and perfect. Our 60th anniversary. For those at Show Centre, this is the anniversary break. Pleasure. Please put your hands together for the 2024 Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the Red Arrow!